All right. The Texas Women's Christian Temperance Union was a union formed to lessen the consumption of alcohol and finally to enact or champion prohibition within the United States. Now, you may not agree with what they um, what they wanted to give to the world or to the country. However, I'll just tell you what they did to at least get that movement passed. So first, the founder of the movement was Frances Willard, and the first thing that she did was go on a small speaking tour throughout towns in Texas, and she would go to 16 towns. Now, what this helped to do, and the next step of this, was that they formed small unions of women's Christian temperance union groups. And these would usually consist of around a few hundred people. Members were typically in the low to middle income range, and they were from Protestant churches. And after 5 years of creating this movement, that's when they found really their central message. And their central message was to focus on the drinking man's neglect and abuse of his wife and children. The movement also asked for organized motherhood to promote women's suffrage in the name of home protection. And here we have a couple of ingredients in what their message did. First of all, in talking about the neglect of the father and the neglect of the family, we're evoking emotion. Second of all, this relates to a lot of people because the message that alcohol is destroying families could relate to a lot of people who had a family and wanted to have a healthy family too. Now, what would happen is because they also endorsed the women's suffrage movement, they actually lost members, but they would gather back from that and start the Texas Equal Rights Association, which was funded by the government and was largely consisted of the Women's Christian Temperance Union. It's tough to say, but I'll keep saying it no matter how much of a tongue twister it is. Anyways, back to they would form the Texas Equal Rights Association with about 20 or 30 members in it. And this association would start by winning small local causes within the community to get some momentum through the legislature. So they would perform work on anti-narcotics, medical temperism, medical temperance, evangelicism in Sunday schools, and social purity, prison/jail reform, and help for soldiers. And with this, one of the first legislative actions that they got was establishing a boys' reformatory and taking teenagers out of prisons. And so, even though this wasn't really part of the prohibition movement, it was a little win for the temperance union because they were able to promote their own ideas within the legislature and then become a closer part of that legislature. Now, what would happen, and their final stroke of genius was combining the temperance union with the progressive movement of the United States in 1919, and with that gain enough support to get the 18th Amendment, which was the prohibition of alcohol. Now, I hope you learned just some ingredients for social movement in that. Feel free to subscribe for more of these videos.